welcome to MeowMix, Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And it's another week, a new head coach, a new starting quarterback. Same result for the Carolina Panthers as they lose 24-10 to the Los Angeles Rams.
Wah wah.
I mean, I've seen some bad offenses over the last couple of years in Carolina. I think this might be the worst. I think this might be the worst game plan I have seen from a Panthers squad since Matt Rule was hired.
I mean, I get PJ Walker starting. He's a third string quarterback. I understand. I loved the first series. I really did because I thought, hey, they're letting him get used to it. But once the Rams stopped those little drop off passes, they didn't do anything else. That was it. That was their game plan. Oh, we're just gonna dip it drop off screen after screen after screen. It was so, I understand being scared of letting PJ Walker sling it, but at a point when they completely figured you out, it's time to let him try to do something else. And they didn't even let him do that.
It's like I agree with you. The first series was great. They didn't get in the end zone, unfortunately, but they moved the ball down the field. They got PJ comfortable, like you said, but then they didn't change anything.
No.
Throughout the entire game, regardless of the score, right? They're down 17-10. At that point, you're thinking, okay, this offense, they have to try something different now. Nope, same thing. Run the ball, little screen passes. That's it. That was the whole offense. Run the ball, little screen passes. Until the very end of the game, garbage time.
Yeah.
But even the big play to McCaffrey was a screen pass.
Yeah.
He just took it down the field because he's Christian McCaffrey and he's really good. That's it. That was the whole offense was Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey screens. Christian McCaffrey screens. And some screens were to Christian McCaffrey. It was come on, man. I mean, DJ Moore deserves better than this. I mean, sneak peek, 3 receptions, 7 yards. I mean,
yeah.
What can you do? What are you supposed to do? I mean, he can only go down the field and be airballed so many times. I mean, I remember 2 or 3 of those airballs just sailing out of bounds.
Just they didn't even attempt.
No.
I mean, I don't think PJ. I haven't seen. I don't know if the stats around in terms of how many attempts he had downfield. I don't think there were any that went past 10 yards. Were there any?
There was
in the air past 10 yards.
Yeah, there was, but they were usually to a cheerleader. I mean, they were so far out of bounds.
Yeah.
I mean, they were so scared of PJ Walker messing this up that they didn't give themselves a chance to win.
I mean, look, we've seen PJ Walker in games before.
Yeah,
and
he's not good.
He's not good, but he has a decent arm. He can run the ball a little bit. They didn't try any of that. They didn't have him any sort of scramble plays for him, nothing. This was just really boring and ineffective. And I tweeted out, it was loser football. They played this game to lose. They were hoping that the Rams would make enough mistakes to beat themselves, while the Panthers were trying not to beat themselves, when in fact they beat themselves and they got their asses kicked by the Rams.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what happened. They tried not to lose, and in doing so, they lost because they didn't give PJ Walker any chance to show off any abilities. I mean, I love the beginning of the first drive was so inspiring. They had an RPO where Deontay Foreman was in the backfield and Christian McCaffrey was a wideout, and they, it could go either Deontay Foreman run or they could do a screen to Christian McCaffrey. I love that, and then then after that, it just kind of well, we spilled all of our plays on the first series, and after that, we're just gonna do nothing but the same thing. And it was just no inspiration.
And it was cool. In the first half, they were mixing in Foreman and Hubbard and and McCaffrey. All 3 of them, they were mixing them around. I mean, Foreman and Hubbard had 7 carries by themselves. McCaffrey only ended up with 13 carries, which was great. We were talking about. We liked that. It was nice to see. But the second half, they sort of went away from it.
Yeah.
Right? It was just McCaffrey and then little screen passes, and that's it.
I mean, the first few drives they were averaging 9 yards per carry, and
Yeah,
then instead of trying, what they should have done, in my opinion, obviously I'm not the coach out there, they should have done some play action deep pass
yes.
attempts at that point because they're going to start gearing up to stop the run, but instead they just continued to do what they were doing. It
And the
was
Rams
just
did. The Rams geared up to stop the run,
rightfully
and
so.
they
I mean,
stopped the run, and we couldn't do anything else. And instead of adapting, which has been this Achilles heel for this team for since 2020, they didn't adapt. They couldn't adapt. They couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out what to do. They didn't even try anything else.
mm-mm.
But like you, I was thinking, okay, they're running the ball. They're running the ball. At some point, they're going to take advantage of this. They're going to do, a play action, and they're going to get one downfield to DJ or Terrace Marshall, who apparently is now the wide receiver 2 on this team,
Yeah.
uh, which we'll talk about in a minute. Um, or anybody, even McCaffrey, Shi Smith, whoever. But nothing. I mean, Shi Smith no catches, Marshall no catches, Anderson obviously no catches. Uh, it was just, it was honestly depressing to watch. It was really sad. This is what the
I
team is, and this is what the team is from now on. I think this is what we can expect from
yeah.
now on.
Let's go quickly into our three key plays. Real quickly, it was the pick six. I'm not even gonna pick up the play. Pick six by Dante Jackson. He read it. He got it.
Mm-hmm.
Got the end zone. By the way, the Panthers have scored 10 touchdowns in 6 games. 30% of those three are on defense. So woohoo!
That is so sad. I mean, good on the
So
defense. And that was a really nice play by Dante Jackson. I mean, it was
it
deflected
was.
pass. Yeah, it came right to him, but I would say the majority of DBs are not catching that just
Hey,
because of the surprise of it being there.
yeah,
You
Shaq
know,
Thompson dropped an interception. I mean, because it hit
yeah,
him in the
on the
hands.
next
Like,
on the next drive, the
yeah.
very next
So
drive. Imagine
so
if he
I mean,
catches that one. This outcomes. Well, maybe we have 13 points instead of 10. But I mean,
oh,
it,
it's sad.
you know, I think that's the only key play, Jerry.
That's realistically the only Panther key play. I do think that the shouting match on the sideline that they kept
Mm-hmm.
going to by Robbie Anderson is another key play because I think Robbie Anderson's done here. I don't think he
Mm-hmm.
plays another snap for the Carolina Panthers. He
I would be
may.
shocked. Yeah.
I, we knew he was Matt Rule's buddy. He always had Matt Rule's back, and it just shows that he's Matt Rule's guy. And
Mm-hmm.
nothing this core, even though the offensive scheme sucked in our opinion, there's
Yeah.
nothing that he's gonna do that he's gonna come back. He's done here. He's gonna get
Agreed.
traded away to Green Bay or somewhere, probably for hopefully a fourth or fifth round pick. The worst part is we lost trade compensation by his outburst today.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that was the most exciting thing that happened on the offense all day long was that Robbie Anderson, throwing a temper tantrum on the sideline and then tanking his trade value in the process.
Yeah,
Even now, if we wanted to trade him, I mean, what you get a fifth or a sixth or seventh round pick for him, probably. I mean, and he's on a decent contract. He should be pretty easy to trade, but now teams are going to be like, well, they have to trade him.
yeah,
We're not going to offer
absolutely.
anything for him. We're going to lowball the crap out of him. So, um, nice game by Allen Robinson today. He sort of came out of his shell a little bit with the Rams. Had a really nice touchdown. We'll call that a key play for the Rams. That Allen Robinson touchdown where he had to go up and get it. It was a nice pass by Stafford and a really nice catch by Robinson. Um, I mean, I think that's honestly in terms of key plays. I think we can just end it there. There's,
Yeah,
you
the
could call it
refs
the
were
49
horrible,
yard run after the catch by McCaffrey was
but
really
that
nice to see. But
it was really
again,
nice.
it didn't
But
lead to anything
no,
except an interception by Jacob Eason. By the way, Jacob Eason played in this game. PJ Walker went out in the fourth quarter for a concussion protocol. They said he did pass the protocol. They kept him out with a neck injury essentially, and Jacob Eason came in, played a series, got the ball into the red zone for the first time all game long. Again, mainly on that McCaffrey reception, excuse me, uh, but threw an interception to the end zone. Two guys had a chance at it. The second guy actually caught it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say other than that. I mean, this game was pretty pedestrian. You know, the Rams took what the Panthers gave them, scored 24 points. Nothing outstanding about what the Rams did today on offense. I didn't think it was particularly impressive.
Yeah,
Our defense played well again, but you know, in the second half, they've been out there on the field. They got tired, and
I
game over.
I would have loved to have seen this game with a healthy Frankie Luvu, healthy J.C. Horn, and I would have loved to see a healthy quarterback not named P.J. Walker.
I don't know that it mattered that much in
I
terms of
mean,
the
if the
defense. Like it was the same. It's the same script we've seen over and over and over again all year long. The Rams had 38 minutes worth of possession. That their defense is getting tired at the end of the game. I mean, Cooper Kupp, 7 catches for 80 yards for him. The Panthers kept him in check. That's a bad game for Cooper Kupp.
yeah, the first game this year under 100 yards, but
Yeah. Only
I
seven
still
catches. I think he's averaging like, I don't know, 27 catches a game or something ridiculous. You know, like they kept him in check. That was a good game plan defensively on him. Running wise, they averaged 3.8 yards per carry. The Rams did.
not
They ran the
bad.
ball 29 times, and again, a lot of that sort of in the fourth quarter there when they had the lead and they knew the Panthers couldn't do anything on offense. They did a good job, the Panthers defense, on the run game. They had the interception, they had the turnover, they scored the pick six. The defense did everything it needed to do to keep the Panthers in this game. The offense did nothing, less than nothing. After that first
I
drive, it was literally nothing, Jerry.
I mean, I just don't understand Ben McAdoo in this situation. Like Matt Rule's gone. You know this team is now. PJ Walker is not the guy. We get that, but you have to do something, man. This was worse than like a high school offense after that first or second drive. Like it was just like he blew his load on the first drive and that was it.
I believe that this is not the case. Okay. But I'm just going to say that right now. I believe that what I'm about to say is not the case. If you were going to tank, this is what it would look like.
I definitely don't think that's what's happening. I think
Right.
still Steve Wilkes
But
wants another head coaching job,
this is
and
how bad they played though. Is they
yeah,
played so bad that that thought popped into my head was, "Oh, this is what they would do if they were going to tank. They would just run the ball 3 times, do nothing, not even try to go downfield, not even try to win the game. They didn't try to win the game.
they didn't. I mean, look at the end of the first half. You have a minute left on the clock, three timeouts. You stop them on fourth down. You don't call a timeout there to give your offense even a shot at a
Right.
field goal because you're expecting to get the ball at your own 35 or so,
Like
hoping Shi Smith breaks something and maybe get on 50. They don't even
they
try.
yeah, they were thrilled to go into halftime scoring 3 points on offense. They were thrilled to be up by 3. They didn't even want to try to go down and get into field goal range. That is loser football.
Yeah,
It is. It's loser football. And I like Steve Wilkes
I
as
do
a
too.
guy. I was really rooting for him as a head coach. And maybe he looks at this game film and realizes that, okay, this is obviously not going to work. Let's try something else next week. Maybe that happens. I hope it does. But what I saw today, no confidence. Zero confidence in this staff.
No, I agree. I'm begrudgingly agree because I even picked the Panthers to win this game. I was like really hopeful, like, hey, you know, Matt Rule was really micromanaging everybody on the staff from
Mm-hmm.
what I'm hearing. Maybe Ben McAdoo was, and I was really excited after that first drive. I was like, wow, they are
Mm-hmm.
looking sharp. They, five wide, like you texted me, like we haven't seen that all season.
Yeah.
Nope.
Unfortunately, I think there was a flag on that play. We didn't see it again. That's the thing, man. Like, what happened? Because they did like they lined up 5 wide. They did some interesting things on that first drive, and then they went away from they just did nothing after that. It was inexplicable. It was insane. And Matt, Steve Oakes even said in his press conference that what's the definition of an insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. He said that in his press conference, and then he did it in the game. He did that thing. They did the same thing the whole
Oh,
game, and it didn't work. Any outside of that first drive where they got a field goal, by the way. They didn't even get a touchdown. They got a field
nope.
goal.
The only touchdown again, Dante Jackson, who left the game injured. So we are missing
Oh my
Dante
God, dude.
Jackson, J.C. Horn.
CJ Henderson went into concussion protocol. Who
Just
else?
sad.
Who else got hurt? Was it Corey Littleton, I think, got hurt? A groin, I think they said.
PJ Walker went into concussion
Yeah,
protocol.
PJ
Don't know if
Walker.
he's
He's out. He's out of concussion protocol. They said he passed it, so
I would
I
still prefer
assume we'll
still at
see him
least
next week.
let's see Jacob Eason. Screw it. Too bad we put Matt Corral on permanent IR before the season.
Well, yeah, the Liz Frank, like he wasn't coming back anyway, but still, it's
We'll
that's
probably see, we'll probably see Darnold or Baker next week. Even
see one-legged Darnold or one-legged Baker or Sam Darnold, who honestly at this point is probably our best quarterback.
God, that pains me to
Can
even
can
think
you
about.
can you disagree with that?
I am not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it pains me to think about it that way.
And we're not bringing back Cam, guys. He's
And
he shouldn't want to come back.
I listened to an interview last week with Cam Newton, and he said that he put himself into bad situations with the Patriots and Panthers last week. He's like, I got signed on Thursday and I was playing on Sunday and starting a week later. He's
Right.
like, I didn't know the offense as well as I should have. And he was talking about the Patriots. He was saying, week 6, I was still up there not debating, but thinking about the offensive play because I was still trying to figure out the offense.
Yeah.
He's like, I put myself in a bad situation. And that's what this is.
I think go ahead.
If he doesn't retire, he needs to get on a team very early next year. Learn the offense.
Yeah.
And
The only
that
team I think that he could come and play for right now would be Washington, just because he
mhm.
knows, Scott Turner's offense. Um, but that's it. Like, he should not play this year if he has to come in and do what he did with the Panthers last year, because it's setting himself up for failure. And
Absolutely.
he will get blamed for it by the majority of people, unfortunately.
The
And
media.
it's, yeah, the media, fans, there's a lot of fans that call him out for bad play, which he has not played well in several years. But there are circumstances. This isn't a Cam Newton podcast, but either way, he's not coming back. So let's, guys, just don't comment if you're going to comment that Cam needs to come back. It's not going to happen.
And for this team, honestly, you don't need to use cap space. You need to roll over any cap space you can to next year. Using it would be dumb. You need to play the Jacob Easons. You need to ride this out till next year. Hopefully, get a top tier quarterback in next year's draft. I like Matt Corral, but here's the point: if you could get a top tier quarterback next year, there's no doubt you have to. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Matt, I was way higher on Matt Corral than most people. I thought he should have been a top second round pick or so, but he looked like garbage in his 1.5 preseason games. And you get a top 5 type of quarterback that's legit top 5, that talent just outweighs Matt Corral's. It just does.
Oh yeah, of course. I don't think anyone would disagree
No,
with you
there
on
are
that.
people, I hear people on Twitter, I hear them calling to the radio, WFNZ, saying, what about Matt Corral? I'm sorry. I'm a Matt Corral believer, but I don't believe he's going to be better than CJ Stroud or, Bryce Young or even the Levi kid from Kentucky. Now Hooker from Tennessee is sneaking up there after he
Yeah,
beat Alabama.
I wouldn't say sneaking. He's like skyrocketing up there. Yeah, I mean, no. Let me rephrase. No rational person would argue with you about that. A third round, almost fourth round pick,
Yeah,
who looked terrible in every little bit of game action we've seen from him, versus a no brainer, top 5 quarterback in a pretty deep QB draft that's coming up. I
Yeah,
mean, even if we don't end up with the first overall pick, we're going to have an opportunity at a good quarterback in that
there's like
draft.
3 or 4 really good quarterbacks right now
I've
that are
heard it's
first
it's
round
five
talents.
deep. I've heard it's five
So
deep in the first round. I mean, that's like anywhere within the first probably dozen picks, you're going to get one of those guys. The Panthers will have a top 5 pick easily, probably the number 1 pick at this point, based on the way this team looks. This is the worst team in the league.
I'm hard to
Who's
argue
worse?
that. I'm
Who's
hard to
worse?
argue that. I mean, the defense I think is a top 10 defense if they could, stay off the field
We'll
or
never know. We'll never know.
but the offense is abysmal. They are the worst offense in the league and they have probably one of the best playmakers in the league.
I
Heck,
mean,
I'm willing to say even top 2 playmakers. I still think DJ Moore can be a huge playmaker. He just needs somebody to get him the ball. It's
let's
the play calling and decision making by the offensive guys that is ruining this team.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Ben McAdoo is a major problem at this point. I'm surprised that he didn't get fired with Rule.
I
Uh,
can. You can't fire everybody. I mean,
you can.
the, who's going to be coaching
I
this?
think after this game you should. I
I
don't care
mean,
who it is. Honestly, I don't care who it is. Ben McAdoo's offense is not working. It's terrible.
it is.
Honestly, it's terrible. Bring
I
in,
will.
give a young guy on the staff, and I don't have the, staff up in front of me right now, but give a young guy on the staff an opportunity. You know, why not? You're 1-5. What do you have to lose?
I don't know. You're right. I mean, I guess it could get worse losing, but I mean, oh well. I
It can't.
mean,
It can't get worse than this. It cannot get worse than today. Honestly, 3 points on offense.
so can I ask a question?
You
We
may.
we're gonna turn this into a little Robbie Anderson type of segment real quick. Robbie Anderson threw a
Are
temper
we gonna
tantrum.
fight each other?
No, no.
Okay.
We're talking about Robbie Anderson. That's the segment.
Okay.
Robbie Anderson threw the temper tantrum on the
Mm-hmm.
sideline, got kicked off the field. Does he have legitimate reason to, or do you think it's just him boiling over the fact that Matt Rule's gone and the
I
team
mean, look,
sucks?
he's the offense was abysmal. Although this was fairly early in the game that he had his first altercation
Yeah,
with Daly. But the offense is abysmal. I don't think I know he had not been targeted up to that point in the game. His mentor slash head coach had just gotten fired. The guy that brought him in here, the guy that gave him the contract. He's been hearing his name in trade rumors
rightfully so.
pretty much all season long, but that's ramped up incredibly over the last couple of days. But no, there's no excuse to act like that. That's not professional. I mean, he's a
No,
professional. That he should
no,
not be acting like that.
you're right. I agree with that 100%. But I was just, since the team is offensively inept, I could see them
But
getting
you're not seeing
upset.
anybody else doing that. You're not seeing
True.
DJ Moore. You're not seeing,
First of all,
Harris Martin. Higgins got brought in to be, potentially the third receiver here. He hasn't even seen the damn field, and he's not acting like that.
I want to give a star to DJ Moore the way he's handled this. Because he has handled this greatly all season. And I am very glad that the rumors out there, because we don't have inside sources, say that he's an untouchable, that he's one of the building blocks. So
Yeah.
I am very happy about that. But he's handled himself very well, in my opinion, for having crap QBs almost his whole career. So
I mean, it's the same story as Steve Smith in terms of really good talent playing with quarterbacks that just are not top tier quarterbacks. You know,
you're about to get some nasty emails about Jake Delhomme. I'm telling you.
Jake Delhomme was a fun quarterback. He was not a top tier quarterback. And
I agree
I
with
don't
you.
think that's not even a controversial statement.
A lot of Panther fans will say that,
I
but
love Jake Delhomme. I would take Jake Delhomme right now at 50 whatever years old he is to come and play for this team. I love Jake Delhomme. Jake Delhomme before Cam, by far my favorite Panthers quarterback.
At least he trusts his receivers, Musa and Muhammad
Yeah,
and Steve Smith, because that's how
sometimes
those
to a
guys
fault.
became 2 Triple Crown guys. Like,
Right, right.
maybe
I
Muhammad
love Jake
wasn't Triple
Delhomme.
Crown, but he led the league in the receiving when Spitty was hurt.
But I mean, imagine, Steve Smith has Brady or Peyton Manning or any Philip Rivers, any of those top tier guys back then, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger. He has a no-brainer Hall of Fame career instead of maybe a borderline Hall of Famer career that he's
Yeah,
got
I
now. So
agree.
yeah. Um. So yeah, but good job, DJ Moore, for acting like a professional, being a good role model, and just not being a freaking diva like we see so many of these wide receivers being. Um,
God, I really hope we get a premier quarterback next year with a great offensive mind coach. Oh,
I
it's sad
mean,
that I'm thinking that, but we still have to. That's why I don't want to get rid of CMC, because with CMC, DJ Moore, Laviska Shenault, Terrace Marshall, if he could actually show up with this O line again, this O line I felt like did a good job. What
O line's been good. Oh, it's a top 10 O
ugh,
line based on
like
many, many different metrics. It's a top
like,
10 O
and they've gotten better. It's like what there's so
line.
much talent on this roster
Mhm.
for this team to be so abysmal, and it
Yeah,
is.
it is. It is. And, in my opinion, they should keep as much of that talent as they could or as they can to entice the top
Yeah,
coaching prospects to come here. Um, I have no issues getting rid of Robbie Anderson, obviously, at this point. I think we've talked about that for a couple of weeks now that he's going to be the first one gone. Um, you know, Shaq, there's some guys that I think I could see them getting rid of and still keeping the core of this team
yeah.
intact. So we'll see how it goes over the next few weeks. I think the more we see of this type of performance, the more guys will end up getting traded.
So real quick before, do you even want to go over the stats of this game?
I mean, there's, McCaffrey has what 100, almost 160 total yards.
Yeah,
Pretty good. No touchdowns. Uh, I do want to point out PJ Walker 10 for 16, 60 yards. Jacob Eason 3 for 5, 59 yards. So PJ Walker plays nearly the entire game and gets 60 yards passing.
average of 3.8 yards.
3.8. That's
That's
tough. That is tough.
so. Instead of stats, let's go over to we're going into more of our regular thing. Untouchable players on this roster. Who would you consider untouchable? And when I say untouchable,
Untouchable
if
from
someone
okay, go
comes
ahead.
in with multiple first round picks, there's a little bit of,
Yeah. At
wait a
some
minute, I may
point,
have
yeah, with the right offer, nobody's untouchable, right? But
Correct.
guys that it would take that type of grandfather offer to give up, right? That's what you're
Hmm.
saying. Um, so I would say DJ Moore, Brian
DJ Moore.
Burns, Jeremy
Hmm.
Chin,
Hmm.
and we're just gonna talk the stars, like the guys that could
Well, I mean,
potentially fetch that type of deal, right?
correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're saying untouchable. So if you come in for a second round pick for a starter,
DJ Moore, for
yeah,
instance,
that's definitely a no
not
go.
gonna do
But
it.
if you say come in a second round pick for a, I don't know, Terrace Marshall or even Shy Smith or something like that, you'd be like, okay, yeah,
I mean, if we got a second round pick for those guys,
yeah,
I'd be
exactly.
shocked. You
That's what
know,
I'm saying. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think Derek Brown, obviously,
mm-hmm.
um, PJ
There.
Walker would never want to get rid of him. Uh,
Wait,
J.C. Horn.
did you slip into Matt Rule's body?
I would say anybody on a rookie contract, right?
Okay.
Just go ahead and take them off the table.
Rookie
Uh,
contract in our starting quality. Let's put it that way. Derek Brown, J.C. Horn,
yeah, I'm not talking about Deontay Brown or these
Terrace
guys that are
Marshall.
barely on the field. I
Yeah.
would even throw Brady Christensen in there in terms of a guy that I wouldn't want to get rid of.
I see. I would be willing to move him because I don't think he's playing
I don't
as
think you're
great.
getting anything for him though. I don't think you're getting
No, in that
more than like a sixth
that's
round pick for him.
then that's fine. Then you don't make
Yeah.
that trade. But I'm saying untouchable players
Okay.
unless a
Okay. I hear you.
Godfather offer.
I hear you. I mean, other than those guys, is there anybody that I left out there that you would put in
See,
other than
I
Ian
would put
Thomas?
CMC in there because I would not want to give up CMC for anything less than a first round and more. Because yes, he has injury prone, but when he's on the field, he is
Mm.
one of the best playmakers on the field. He literally was the offense this game. This team had almost 206 yards
Yeah.
altogether. He had 160 of them almost.
There's two ways to think about that. There's one that if things aren't working, you start over. Christian McCaffrey is the piece that we could get the most out of in a trade by far. He's the guy that could fetch those multiple first round picks.
The Browns think they could get him for a third round pick.
The Browns are stupid.
I'm just
They
telling you.
can't.
I
They
was
can't
like,
get him for a
what are
third
they
round pick.
expecting for him? They're expecting a third round pick and a player like James Cook. No, that
The
for
Browns or
anybody
the
on
Bills?
the Bills. Sorry, my bad.
Okay. Who's
No,
saying that though?
I was looking at the Twitter and the Bills fan pages,
Okay. Well,
but
they know nothing. Obviously, they're going to try to jip us out of whatever they can. Every fan base wants to get that star player
yeah.
for nothing, you know.
So,
But I mean,
but I would,
legitimately, if the Bills offer the Panthers a first round pick, a third round pick, you know, and like a fourth round pick or a player like James Cook or something like that for Christian McCaffrey, you're saying no?
yeah, I would say no because you're still looking at the 36nd pick in the draft, and no
Maybe,
one,
somewhere late first round. You're right.
you you're not gonna replace Christian McCaffrey's talent. That's the biggest thing people fail to realize. That talent is something so special.
It is. He is a special guy. How many years does he have left at being that productive?
I mean, he's 26 years old. I think you could still get 4 years out of it. I still do. And I think with a smarter offensive coach, I think that he could flourish to something very special.
You're
Where you're
banking
like,
on him staying healthy,
yeah, yeah.
which is a risky proposition.
But I also see him as a key to bring an offensive mind coach in here too. Because
Maybe,
you
yeah, maybe.
have that piece that is something special. That piece that can move around the checkerboard anywhere you want on offense and be lightning in a bottle.
Let's do heroes and zeros real quick here.
Oh, sure.
For this game, I think there's only one hero.
Christian
CMC.
McCaffrey. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Derek
it.
Brown had another good game. Just
Yeah,
letting it
they
out there.
Christian McCaffrey, the only reason the Panthers were even interesting to watch on offense in this game.
Yeah.
Zeros, there's so many. I'm going to give mine to Robbie Anderson just for, first of all, he produced zero.
Yeah.
He probably hurt his trade value, which is going to hurt the team. So I'm giving Robbie Anderson that zero.
I will not go him. I'm gonna go Ben McAdoo for not changing up your playbook a little bit. I mean,
That's a good one.
at some point you have to make a change, at least try something different. If PJ Walker throws a deep interception, just count it as a punt. At least he tried. At least you're gonna
Yeah.
back them off the running game.
Yeah. Predictions. You predicted the Panthers would win this game. I predicted the Panthers would lose this game. We both thought that it was going to be a fairly close game. I was very confident the Panthers were going to keep this within that 10.5 point spread, which they did for most of the game until, the second half. What else? Anything else?
Beer bet of the week.
Beer bet of the week. What was it?
I'm trying to pull it up. For some reason, Google Drive is really slow. PJ Walker over under 2.5 interceptions. He had zero.
He did have zero.
So I won.
They didn't give him a chance. They did not give him a chance to even throw an interception, really.
Yeah. I won that one.
Jacob Eason did go the over, though, on interceptions. Whatever the over was, he went over.
Well, yeah, we did bet on that. So,
right. Yeah, I mean, just final thoughts from me. This was really disappointing. I was hoping to see something different this week from Wilks. I liked everything he said in his press conferences. I thought they were gonna open things up a little bit. Run the ball to pass the ball type of deal. But they just ran the ball to lose. That's all they did. They ran the ball to lose.
They played scared. I mean, the Panthers needed to change their jerseys to yellow next week if they play like this because they're scared.
Instead
the coaching
of
staff is scared.
The red flags, he just needs to throw the white flags.
Yeah, give up. Okay, we give up. We're just gonna go in. Steve Wilks, you want to be in head coach in this league, man?
That ain't gonna do it. You're not gonna be anybody's coach.
Go knock on David Tepper's door. Ask for those brass balls.
And we understand that Steve Wilks is not calling offensive play calls, guys. We know that. But at halftime, Steve Wilks can say, "Hey, Ben, let's throw the ball a little bit. Let's do something else." Steve Wilks is the man in charge of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So we're not saying Steve Wilks should be out there catching balls. He can throw 50 yards by himself. That's not what we're saying, man. Steve Wilks is in charge of the team. He's involved in the game plans. This was his game plan. This was Steve Wilks's. This is what he wanted to do.
And they talked
to him at halftime, Jerry. They talked to him at halftime when things were not working, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, "We're going to keep doing the same damn thing. We're going to keep running the ball. That's it."
All it's going to do is keep you in the bottom tier of coaching staffs. That's all you're going to do. You didn't put yourself out there. You didn't put the team out there. You didn't do any of that.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us.
Yeah.
Nothing else to say, really, guys. Comment, let us know what you think. Where does this team go on moving forward?
We're still the number one pick of the draft. That's a positive.
Yeah. We're winning the worst team of the league right now. That's about it.
And worst franchise, honestly. So far, we have dysfunction on dysfunction.
Yep.
We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. We're 10 away. We're slowly getting there. Unfortunately, the team sucks, so people don't want to listen about losses. So the 5 of you still listening, thank you.
We'll be back maybe a couple times this week. I know we're going to talk about possible head coaches, and then, of course, we'll do our preview for our next game, which I believe is Tampa, right?
Oh, no, it's in the juggernaut slot, so.
Home game against Tampa, so that one should be fun. All right.
Hey, they lost today, at least.
They did. Yeah, they'll be extra angry coming in here. Until next time, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding. Wow.